Have you ever been in love? The yearning of the heart, fluttering of your insides, the excitement and the rush, the constant thoughts of that person, and many more. If your answer is yes, then you must have experienced one or two of the above. Love can be a bittersweet experience. On one side, there is the mushy feeling and excitement, the joy of finding someone to love and cherish, and on the other side is all the work and effort, the pain and heartache that comes with the love package. Sometimes, or should I say most times, we cannot help loving people. It just happens automatically, and before we realize it, we are caught in a web we cannot escape. Yet, as powerful as love is, there are things, circumstances, and events that can reduce the amount of love you have for a person or cause your once glowing embers of desire to become reduced to nothing but cold ashes. Well, nobody wants to get to this point. So let us go back to the beginning, the whole process of falling in love. One of the major features by which you know you love someone is the frequency at which you think of that person. If they do not matter to you, you probably would have no thoughts whatsoever about them, but when they are constantly on your mind, then something is up. They just happen to pop up in your thoughts every time, while watching TV, doing the laundry, spending time with friends, and even in your prayers. You find yourself smiling and wondering what they would be doing at that moment, and gradually, they become a part of your life. You want to spend more time with them, rather than just fantasize about it. You are always calling or texting each other, buying gifts and making promises. Love is already in full gear, and even when you try to restrain yourself, you are far too gone to stop loving that person. Your heart has become too attached, and you cannot help yourself any longer. While we do not usually question the reason for beautiful happenings, we sometimes wonder, why can't I stop thinking about this fellow? Why are they always in our thoughts and on our minds? Let us go back to the author of love and see from God's perspectives the reason for this. Number 1. Love has no reason. Sounds strange, right? Well, it is the truth, and though many factors can affect a person's ability to love or the amount of love a person can give, the truth is that we cannot identify a singular reason as to why we love people in the first place. Just do a brief survey of couples who are truly in love and ask the reason they love their spouses. They may give you several reasons like, I love his smile, or her kindness attracted me. But deep down within, they cannot tell the real reason. They would have met a lot of people with beautiful smiles, kind hearts, lovely demeanor, and all those things that people give as a reason to love. Yet, they fell in love with that one singular person. It is a matter of the heart, and most times cannot be reasoned logically. We are not alone in trying to understand the mystery that surrounds love. Even David had to ask in the scriptures in Psalm 8 verse 4, What is man that you are mindful of him, and the son of man that you visit him? For you have made him a little lower than these angels, and you have crowned him with glory and honor. You have made him to have dominion over the works of your hand. You have put all things under his feet. Is this not what we do when we are in love? We constantly think of that person, visit them, give them a space in our hearts, and make them a priority in our life. If anyone understands love at all, it would be God himself. And that is because God is love. 1 John chapter 4 verse 8. Check through the love chapter in 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and compare it to the love of God. He is patient, kind, bears all things, and endures all things. He loves us unconditionally. Yes, he loves us not because of anything we have or have done, and not because of anything that we give to him. Even before we knew him or came to accept his love for us, he already loved us, and when we reject him, hurt him, and turned against him, his love for us did not change towards us. This is the highest level of love that can ever be experienced by man. And though our love is not as perfect, there is an element of this unconditional love in man, and that is why you cannot stop loving or thinking about that person. Even when you are hurt and broken, you still cannot help loving that person. That you feel hurt is a function of your love for that person. Now, because of the partial conditional nature of man's kind of love, there are other reasons and factors that influence your love for a person, and we shall discuss them next. However, the first reason you cannot help loving a person is that love has no reason. It loves despite all. Number 2, they satisfy your basic needs. Everyone has basic needs and expectations in a relationship. As a rule of nature, we stick to places or people where these needs or cravings are acknowledged and met. These needs are different from person to person, but the reaction is usually the same. The fact that our needs are being met stirs a response within our hearts in the form of love or respect. One of those things that stir up love in a person's heart is being honored. Humans, especially men, are created with an innate desire to be honored, respected, cherished, and loved. We tend to reciprocate the same. Even though God loves the whole world, He gives preference to one who honors Him. See 1 Samuel chapter 2 verse 30. For those who honor me I will honor, and those who despise me shall be lightly esteemed. If a person makes you feel special and important, you want to spend more time in such person's company and do the same for them. You miss them when they are not around and begin to think more about them because one way or the other, they soon become a part of you. In cases like this, you cannot help but keep thinking about that person. You simply cannot help falling in love with them, and it becomes even more difficult to stop once you are already involved. Number 3, you can envision a future with them. When a man pursues a lady to be in a romantic relationship, there is persistence and confidence with which he does so. This is usually because he has a vision of what he wants and what life would be like together with that person. He has seen things that he desires and is willing to pursue them with all he has. In the same vein, when you have a certain person in mind who you want to spend the rest of your life with, there is every possibility that you keep thinking about them. The more you think about them, the more you fall in love with them. Sometimes it becomes very difficult to disconnect because it feels like you have placed all your eggs in one basket and cannot just imagine life with someone else. Looking from God's point of view, we see that He has a plan for mankind and eternity in view. He has a future in mind that includes us, and for that reason, we are always in His thoughts, and He just cannot stop loving us. Jonathan, as well, envisioned a future with David as king and him being the second in command. It must have contributed to the overall affection he had for David. The same thing is applicable in our relationships today. Number 4, you have become too attached. There are times when we become too attached to someone or invest so much in a relationship that it becomes difficult to let go, even when we are hurt or do not reciprocate equally. Especially when you think you have found the right one, there is every possibility that you put in your all and give your best because you believe you are headed for marriage or something worthwhile. The more attention you give someone, the more affection you have for that person, and the more you find yourself constantly thinking of that person. Sharing thoughts, emotions, dreams, and experiences also brings an amount of closeness that makes one become attached. Subsequently, you find it difficult to do without them or function optimally in their absence. Number 5, they have a positive impact on your life. We naturally like to think about things and people that make us happy. There is this positive energy you get from this kind of people that brings out the best in you. Besides, if that person influences your life positively, you become grateful to them, and gratitude can metamorphose into love and affection. When you have issues that need to be solved, goals that you wish to achieve, they are the first people that come to your mind to discuss it. It is a natural process.